Call the city council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Cadella.
Here.
Alderman Coles. Here. Yay. Alderman Lewitton.
Here.
Alderman Police.
Here.
Alderman Shockey.
Here.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman Winger. Here. Mayor Johnson.
Here, quorum being present, would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Let me turn you.
I can turn around.
Sorry to keep it. Okay.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of December 16th, 2010?
That's good. So move.
Is there a second on the question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I do have a couple written communiques today. First one is from the Wooddale Historical Society. I'd like to begin by thanking you, the City Council and the City of Wooddale, for your continued support of the Wooddale Historical Society and yesterday's Farm Museum. Over the years, we've worked with the City of Wooddale during numerous events. We enjoy the opportunity to continue serving the citizens of Wooddale. In the past, the city has helped support a number of programs that Wooddale Historical Society has brought to the community. Due to your support and generous cooperation, we've been able to continue to provide such programs as our Conversation With series, Flea Market, and Harvest Fest. These programs have been provided to the community for many years. We have had people participate in our events from other towns and cities in our state, as well as from other states. We in our city have welcomed guests from the local hotels to join the festivities when they are in town. People traveling through town enjoy the information that is placed at the local hotels with area events. These events, whether they are city, park district, library, or historical society, continue to draw people to visit our city year after year. So I would like to request your continued support for the Wooddale Historical Society's programs and events. We have sent a request to Mr. Murmas for funds totaling $6,500. These funds are directly related to our continued ability to provide high-caliber programming to our community. Your support allows us to remain available to the community through additional programs such as our cooperative education program with the area grammar schools, cooperation with the Wooddale Public Library, service programs, and for high school and college students. I would like to thank all the members of the City Council that come and support our community at our events and encourage any other members to come and participate in events on the farm. We really enjoy seeing members of our City Council come and join in the fun. We would be honored to have you as members of our society. As you know, we need all the funding that we can acquire, and membership are one of the ways of funding. Please consider becoming a member as well as all the aldermen and the city staff. We have been very proud to work with all of you these past years and look forward to a bright future of mutual continued cooperation and support. Signed, Jennifer Ryan, President of the Wooddale Historical Society. So Chairman Winger, if you would add that to a future Finance Committee agenda.
Sure, thank you.
Second one is from Mill Oven. I busted the tire of my car using Deer Path Road. Something needs to be done immediately about that road. There is nothing but holes at this point. If I recall, it's not completely our road, but if we could, Mr. Kramer, if you could check that out, that'd be appreciated. Do any citizens wish to address the City Council this evening? If so, if you go to the podium and give us your name and address, please. Hearing none, that brings me to Mayor's report. And the first thing, I and the entire City Council are pleased to welcome Alderman Joel Coles back with us. Any words of wisdom you want to give us, Joe?
Yes. After being away for 6 months in the hospital, I really appreciate coming back here. This is my life. City of Wooddale is my life. Excuse me.
We are pleased that you made it back. And on a happy note, congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Murmas, who are expecting a baby boy, which is due in May. Congratulations as well. January 19th is the legislative dinner. If you can make it, it would be appreciated. It's always important that for that function where we have all the legislators there, that we have a biggest turnout as possible. That's January 19th, and I think it's going to be in Lisle this year. Now, if everyone, all of you on the left side would join me on the right side of the podium and bring your book with you and turn to page 179. There's a character on 179. Mr. Murmas, Mr. Manager, you don't have a book, but if you want to get in the shot. School District 7 is promoting reading a book program for all the citizens of Wooddale, and the book that they're recommending is Hoot by Carl, Hyacin. And on page 179, the fish glittered blue and green as it wriggled in his palms. Holding it over the creek, the boy let go. The mullet landed with a soft plop and vanished in a swirl. "Bye, little guy," said Beatrice's stepbrother. "Swim fast." Later, after they paddled ashore, Roy's curiosity got the best of him. He heard himself saying, "Okay, can you tell me now? What's going to happen tonight at Mother Paula's?" Mullet Fingers, who was shaking a snail off of one of his sneakers, flashed a mischievous glance. "There's only one way to find out," he said. "Be there." Got your shot, Chief?
One more.
Yeah, books in sight.
Great. Got one.
Okay.
Which one of us is mullet fingers?
And that concludes my report, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One report you may remember at the most recent council meeting, the city council decided that they would be placing a referendum on the ballot this coming election for the grade separation safety improvements. It is coming up in February. It is suggested by the manager's office that we discuss information dissemination on that community outreach strategy. So that'll be coming before you in February. That concludes my report.
That brings us to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve a resolution ratifying and authorizing the execution of an employment agreement for the city manager between the city of Wooddale and Mr. Jeff Murmas. Is there such a motion? Is there a second? Alderman Coles made the motion. Alderman Shockey, did you second? On the question? Before we vote on this, I think all of us are looking forward for a long and mutually profitable relationship. We know of your dedication, almost half of what Alderman Coles has, I think, but half would be pretty good in that case. Anything further on the question? Roll call.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton.
Yes.
Alderman Cadalla.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Cole.
Yes.
Alderman Police.
Yes.
That item is approved as Resolution R-11-01. That brings us to committee chairman reports, planning, zoning, and building. Alderman Cadella.
No report.
Public health, safety, and judiciary. Alderman Shockey.
Mr. Mayor, there was no report, but I would like to ask a question. It's on a time-sensitive matter that was brought to me by our building department. We have a PADS in town at the community church, and when they were inspecting it, our building department found out that the mattresses that they use over there are old 3-inch mattresses that are falling apart and are, well, they're not good enough for a dog to lay on either, really. And what we're thinking about is to buy them 20 new mattresses for $50 each, that are 4 inches thick and make them, this is for people who are homeless, who are at the church on Fridays, and we have volunteers that go there and take care of them and make food for them and everything, and wash their clothes. Now, I don't know whether this should go to committee or if it can go directly to council next week, but it would be a maximum of $1,000 for the 20 mattresses for these people.
If the council is of a motion, we can take that up under other business tonight, and then it would have to be put on the agenda at a future meeting and then ratified, but we could go ahead and proceed with the purchase if that's the council's desire. So, anything further under your report?
No, unless there's any questions.
Alderman Lewitton? Actually, why don't we do that? Entertain any questions when we have a motion on the floor.
Okay.
Does that conclude your report?
That's it.
Public Works, Alderman Wesley.
No report, Mayor.
Finance and Administration, Alderman Winger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion for an ordinance amending ordinance number 010-002, which is the 2010 through 11 annual budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Alderman Wesley?
What's this for, Mayor?
This is for the addition of an employee, a full-time technical support employee in the administration. Mr. Murmas, do you want to comment any further?
I was going to defer to Mr. Bond.
Mr. Bond?
Okay, what you've done is you're, under the budget that you approved, the IT position was a contract or professional service agreement. This is not there's no change in the additional dollars or additional costs to the city, but this is really an accounting function to show that the money is now being taken from the line item that was previous professional services and is being placed in the line item under administration salaries. So when the auditor does an audit of the accounts, it's going to see that they all match up with your expenditures. So it's really a housekeeping matter in light of the direction that you gave the city manager.
Actually, you're hiring another mayor.
Alderman Wesley?
You're actually hiring another full-timer in the city. That's what the budget amendment's for. You're hiring another additional full-timer in the city.
That's correct. Anything further? Roll call.
Alderman Shalky,
Yes.
Alderman Winger,
Yes.
Alderman Lewitton,
Yes.
Alderman Cadella,
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley,
No.
Alderman Coles,
Yes.
Alderman Police,
Yes.
That passes ordinance O-11-1. Does that conclude your report?
Yes, it does.
That brings us to other business.
What,
Alderman Coles?
I got one thing to say. We had that, John, you're gonna check about that guy's blow out a tire on Deer Path. I've only been trying to get Deer Path covered since 2005. So, I mean, it maybe someday the street will be done. But since 2005, I've been trying to get that street done. We took some engineering last year and nothing was done. So maybe on the agenda, we should be able to get that street done maybe next year, I hope. One of them things that get an oversight, but
My understanding is that's scheduled in the CIP for this spring.
this spring. Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Alderman Lewitton?
Appropriate time to make a suggestion for public health and safety to go to committee. But I've noticed in town, we have several points where there are those special multicolored signs, posts that are put there by the gas company that show that there's underground gas running from, who knows, Texas up to the airport. And if anybody ever would drill down there or do anything, they could cause a terrible explosion. And I just think for public safety, it would be a good idea if we had guardrails in front of every place in the city where those gas signs are. There's only a couple of them, but could that be put on public safety for that to be done?
It may be more appropriate under Public Works, but I'll defer to staff on that. Mr. Kramer?
I don't think we put that on
not knowing exactly the specific areas, we will look into it. I'm sure those delineators are just there marking the pipe. Don't know if they service any sort of valve or opening where if those were hit, but I'm being shook, no. But we can definitely take a look at that, and I'll report at a later Public Works Committee meeting.
Alderman Shockey, do you have a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we, with our finance department, that we find a way to supply $1,000 for 20 mattresses for the PADS program at the community church.
If this needs to be expedited, this is a public health issue, I presume?
It is
Mr.
because
Mr.
of the
Forrest,
weather.
perhaps you could fill out a little bit about what Alderman Shockey was talking about earlier.
Yes, I believe the sooner the council could act on that, as Alderman Shockey said, when staff was doing the inspection at the PADS facility about a week and a half ago, we happened to notice what they use for the homeless people that use the facility once a week. What they have for them to sleep on are these foam rubber pads that have kind of a harder plastic covering, sort of maybe like an exercise pad that somebody might use. Most of the pads there are fairly old. They're about 3 inches thick. They're pretty worn. The plastic is cracked. And then they do have a couple of newer style foam mattresses that are about 4 inches thick that seem like they would be a lot more comfortable. They just spread them out on the floor, put sheets on them, the volunteers that work there. I happened to notice when I was there that the mattresses that they have are in pretty bad shape. I talked to the director of that PADS site. She said that due to budget constraints, when she requests new mattresses from the parent PADS organization, she gets 2 or 3 at a time. So, I've talked to her. She was going to get some information about where those pads can be purchased, a definite price. She thought they were about $50 each when I spoke to her a few days ago.
In light of this being an emergency situation, Mr. Bond? Mr. Bond? In light of this being an emergency situation, do we have the authority to act on this tonight?
You do, given the weather and given the current situation. And then I would simply recommend that it be placed on the agenda at the next city council meeting for ratification. But you can go ahead with if the council is inclined, go ahead with the purchase of those with a motion to make a contribution to PADS in an amount not to exceed $1,000, and that money be specifically dedicated to the purchase of mattresses.
Alderman Shockey?
And that they be used in Wooddale. We want to make sure that they don't take them to other sites. My son and my wife and I used to go to that, volunteer for that. It is a completely volunteer organization, and I'd like to compliment our building department also in finding a way to allow them to have a few more than the 30, I think it is, that is normally allowed. Because when we were there, we would have people coming in at 11 or 12 at night with this kind of weather, below zero weather even, and they had nowhere else to go, no place at all. So it's just, with this economy and everything else, there's more of these people and more families, actually, women with their children, that go to these PAD sites each evening. So it would just make them a bit more comfortable than they are now, and it would, and again, because of the building department, they can take a few more people than they used to, so they don't have to turn anybody away anymore. Thank you.
Alderman Wesley?
Alderman Shockey, you said it was a volunteer thing. Is anyone know if PADS are funded by the county or the state or the federal government in any which way?
It's a strictly volunteer organization, I believe. They're headquartered in Wheaton for DuPage County, but even the people who work there don't really make a salary. So, and all the people who work PADS do it on their own and bring in meals for the people and everything else and wash their clothes. And the community church provides the washing machine and dryer and the space for these people.
Okay, because I just wonder about you're given $1,000 to buy these mattresses. I want to make sure that that's what the money's going to go for.
That's what we would leave up to the finance department, to Brad, to make sure that these mattresses are used just in Wooddale for our pads program.
Okay. Thank you.
Alderman Lewiton?
Question of reference. Two things. Are you proposing to give them a check for them to buy, or are you proposing to buy the beds, the mattresses, and then donate the mattresses? And the reason I'm asking that is the tax status, the sales tax. If you say that you want to donate 50 and they come out to be $1,000, who pays the other $75 sales tax? Does the city or the organization have a tax exempt status? And do you want to say 50 mattresses, or do you want to say $1,000?
I wish I could answer that, but that's why I say we would go through our finance department, let them handle how it would be, where the check or how the money would be handled for it. But the important thing is that, as John said, when they ask for mattresses, they'll get 1 or 2, maybe 3. We would want to make sure that these 20 that we're asking for aren't split up among all the pad sites, and we wouldn't have them. We're letting the finance department figure out a way for us to pay the $1,000, and they'll know what to do to make sure that we get the pad mattresses over here.
Are you asking to donate money? I'll just rephrase, I'll shorten it. Are you asking to donate a specific amount of money or a specific number of mattresses?
A
Let
maximum
me see if
of
I can cut through this and
$1,000.
help you out a little bit. And in either event, it would be tax exempt, whether it's the city or pads. May I suggest you rephrase your motion as follows? Alderman Shockey moves, second by Alderman to be determined, to make a donation contribution to pads in an amount not to exceed $1,000 for the purchase of 20 mattresses to be used in the Wooddale facility.
Yes,
Is that
please.
acceptable? Is there a second?
Second.
Anything further on the question? Roll call.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Winger,
Yes.
Alderman Lewiton,
Yes.
Alderman Cadella,
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman Coles, Alderman Police.
Yes.
That passes. So everybody understands, staff is authorized to go ahead and expend the money, and then we will need to re-ratify this at a future council meeting, but they can do it immediately. Okay. That brings us to approval of bills. Alderman Winger?
Okay, so, Mr. Bond, is it appropriate to leave that purchase off since the bill isn't in front of us at this time, or to approve it now in the list of bills?
No, you've approved staff to go forward. It will come back on the next warrant, and it'll be
Okay.
included in there.
Thank you. So I'm going to make a motion to approve a list of bills dated January 6, 2011 for $562,604.51.
Is there a second? On the question? Roll call.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Winger,
Yes.
Alderman Lewiton,
Yes.
Alderman Cadella,
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman Cole, Alderman Police.
Yes.
That passes. There are no items to be referred. There are no items for information only. May I have a motion to adjourn the city council into executive session for purposes of review of the official minutes, land acquisition, probable litigation, and personnel pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1, 2C21, 2C5, 2C11, and 2C1. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Roll call. Alderman Wesley, Roy Wesley.
Alderman Cadella,
Yes.
Alderman Coles, Alderman Lewiton,
Yes.
Alderman Police,
Yes.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
That passes. The city council is adjourned. We're going to do this a little differently tonight. We're going to ask all of you to leave. We're going to stay here. If you want to hang around, you're welcome to go to the cafeteria, watch a movie, watch the Bulls, watch the Blackhawks. But we're going to need the room.